Thank you, Tufik. I'd also like to thank again our panelists for taking time out of their very busy schedules to come together in order to show a strong coalition of solidarity on this issue, a coalition which we believe stretches across political boundaries, religious boundaries, ethnic boundaries that make up the American population today. I'd also like to mention very quickly a number of organizations who are here in support of this initiative, and yet who were not able to sit on the panel today, and that is the Philos Project, the Nineveh Council of America, A Demand for Action, Christian, Arab, and Middle East Churches Together, the Armenian National Committee of America, and the Southern Baptist Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission. So thank you all also for being here today and for supporting us. Why the G word matters. After years of heightened sectarian violence in Iraq and Syria, in the summer of 2014, we all witnessed as ISIS ravaged Mount Sinjar and the Nineveh Plain of northern Iraq and Kurdistan, the ancestral homelands of the ancient Yazidi and Christian communities of Iraq. Hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians fled for their lives, only to become displaced persons and refugees in other lands. Meanwhile, others were murdered, kidnapped, raped, and suffered other unspeakable atrocities. Churches and monasteries were razed to the ground. Religious leaders were executed. Christians and other religious minorities who did not escape were left with unimaginable options, if any at all, such as conversion to Islam or death. In August of 2014, the Iraqi parliament decried these atrocities and crimes against humanity of ISIS, calling the targeted persecution of religious minorities under ISIS a genocide. In the year that has followed, many others have done the same, including Pope Francis, the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom, and the world's leading international association of genocide scholars. In September of this year, a resolution urging the United States to follow, naming the treatment of minorities under ISIS as genocide, was introduced to the U.S. Congress, Resolution 75. In Defense of Christians has been working hard alongside many other organizations representing a broad spectrum of Americans' political and religious communities, many of those organizations who are represented here today, to ensure that the United States government, both the Congress and the State Department, do exactly that. At our recent National Leadership Convention in September, the day following the announcement of Genocide 75, hundreds of Middle Eastern Christians, American citizens, canvassed the halls of Congress, visiting over 200 offices in support of the resolution. To date, over 150 members of the House of Representatives have co-signed this initiative. Today, we're gathered to take a deeper look at both the scope and the implications of this important American policy. We have brought to the table some of the nation's most recognized leaders on the topic to guide us through this conversation. We will hear brief remarks from each of our panel members and then open the floor for questions and answers.